Hello, I want to tell you all about solo RPGs for writers. Here's how it works. And the good news about it is you can try it out for free because there are a few free solo role playing games out there. And all you need as equipment really is pen and paper. The one that I did was called, I just started it yesterday, and it's called Her Odyssey. It has rules that involve you using dice and cards to help you randomly choose what prompt is going to be given to you. So, for example, if you drew a card, right, the 9 of diamonds, I was going to get my first prompt from drawing that card, and the prompt for it was with villages, towns, cities, an illness, an abandoned dwelling, a false friend, an illusion, and a few other things, right? So they're your prompts to write with. So that's great because you don't go in there with this thing writers get, whether you're new or not new. What'll I write about? Indeed, even the use of the cards sparked my imagination because I said, well, that's handy that they're using cards because I can get my other kinds of cards. That card is from a tarot deck. I have a Byzantine tarot deck, and it is the equivalent of this card, the 9 of diamonds. I said I'm going to use that as a kind of a visual prompt as well because I really like visual prompts. And then I had another deck of cards, so I have another visual prompt from the 9 of diamonds there as well. You have assigned values to those which you can't use up. So it limits what your character can do as well when you throw the dice, because you throw the dice in this, you throw it multiple times and you pick the highest number and then you decide how you're going to deal with something. So you still have decisions to make in your story, like the name of the character. But uh, the character is shaped by what its resources are, if you know what I mean. And I ended up coming up with a little one-pagey thing from yesterday that was prompted by these. So I'm just going to read it to show you what can come out. It'd be different for somebody else, you see, but based on these things, what came up for me. And I'll probably continue on with this game. Um, I'll probably get a Rider-Waite tarot deck and tap into more symbolism in that and use that to continue the story. Here's what I came up with for my first day of it. Stella knew she was dreaming. She was very hot and trying to run, but unable to move. And when she turned her head to see why her body was still, she could see nothing holding her and nothing to explain why she could not escape the heat and run to the shade under the tree with the red apples. There was a figure already there, she noticed, but he presented no threat. Indeed, he had no interest in her or anything else but the huge red apples, it seemed, for his right hand stretched up towards them as though to pick one to quench his thirst, if only she could bite into one and let the juice quench her thirst too. But neither of them would get their heart's desire, as they were, she realized, both frozen, reaching towards, but never reaching, the fruits that hung so temptingly from the tree. Why, she had was wondering, are you frozen so? And then it occurred to her they were in a dream where one cannot make one's body obey. So I cannot escape the heat of the sun beating down, nor bite into the juicy apple, she thought, while I remain in the dream. Nor indeed can he, the figure in the shade reaching up. Will the knowledge that I am asleep work some magic to wake me? She wondered. But the dream continued, and she tried not to think of the apples, so far away when you can't move, although near enough to count out. So, in that section that I started off with yesterday, I had the name of my character. I had named her, and whether it was a he, she, or it could have been an animal if you'd wanted, or an inanimate object that became animate. um, but the prompt, what I decided to go with in the prompt was illness. That was the prompt that seemed interesting to me, right? So that prompt is kind of bringing up something for you, and then this card helped me, didn't it? Because he became the character in the dream. She's ill with a fever, you see, and he became the character that she met. So there's also kind of a problem to be solved, and you have resources of energy, your vitality levels, and your, in this one, quickness, vitality, and fortitude. So I'm going to use fortitude to solve this one. So I'm going to work more on that today. I don't know how the story's going to go. It's not like doing my novel where I plot it out beforehand. It's game, and it's got random things that can happen in it and things that are not under my control. So, for example, depending on what numbers I get in my dice, um, the outcome of whatever I decide to solve the problem with can be an absolute failure, a partial failure, partial success, or an absolute success based on what dice I get and what my energy levels, my resources are left for the day and everything. That seems to be how it works. So it's a really fun thing. The one that I'm doing, Her Odyssey, you could try that one, or you could just have a look for solo role-playing role-playing games journaling, so that you don't end up having to kind of build, I don't know, worlds and do lots of extra stuff as well. This is just pen and paper writing. You could have a go at it and do it like a really long thing or a really short thing that you just do in a day to try it out. But it's very freeing up, I think, for writers, and can bring up stories that you wouldn't normally tell. Like, I think this would be a really good tool for short story writing, which would be really interesting. And the short stories would probably end up with related themes because it's stuff coming up from your unconscious, you see. So very good, and I like my added thing of using the tarot deck. You don't need to buy the dice, because there are online D4 or D6, they call them, dice uh, rolls that you can do online. So, you don't have to invest in buying anything like that. Um, Even cards, if you don't have a deck of cards, you can draw cards on online things as well. And usually the games are just like a very simple PDF that you download. Um, and as I say, you can try some of the free ones if you like me. The one I had was a freebie. So it might be something to try if you're stuck writing, or if you're a new writer, or even if you're an established writer and you want to expand what you can do. Because somebody like an Irish writer, W.B. Yeats, who was very involved in not this tarot deck, but a Rider-Waite tarot deck, the design of it. He was very inspired by mythology, but used a lot of visual uh, clues and cues as well for his writing, and all sorts of um, esoteric philosophies came into it as well. They used things like tattoos and everything, but it was all to kind of open up your artistic vision, you see, was the idea. So use what tools appeal to you. See if this one works for opening up that creative channel a bit more, so that you can access all those stories. And you might like it, you might not. You don't know till you try, and it's free.